Hello everyone, I wanted to send a quick update on my bad apple on a breadboard project. So these are the EPROMs that I've been using so far. I only received these fairly recently. I think they are 32 kilobyte EPROMs. So that would be a 27C256. The number at the end of the chip code for memory chips is usually the number of bits of memory, and these are 8-bit bytes. So I think, is that right? No, that would be 512, wouldn't it? Oh, I can't do the maths. These are 32K anyway, I believe, and that's what I'm currently using in my Bad Apple project. And the resolution I'm doing at the moment, that gets me about 4 seconds of video. Depends a little bit on exactly what's on the screen because of the way my compression algorithm works. So as I said in the last video, I had some larger EPROMs on order and they have now arrived. So that's great. Let me show you one of those. These are 16 megabit EPROMs. They are in a physically larger package, as I also mentioned in the last video, which makes it more challenging to fit on the breadboard. In addition, that also creates a problem because my EPROM programmer only supports 40-pin chips. So those first chips there are 28 pins, that's 14 pins down each side. It's a very standard size for memory chips. A lot of static RAM and EPROMs and EPROMs come in that size. I think you can also get 32-pin chips with 16 pins down each side for slightly larger sizes, but for the size that I've gone for here, that comes in a 42-pin package. It's not strictly necessary for it to have so many pins for what I'm using it for, but this chip has dual bus width outputs. It actually can output 16 bits of data instead of 8 bits of data per address cycle. So if you were using it in that mode, then you'd get a higher bit bandwidth out of it that way. It does mean that they've added a lot of extra pins on here that I'm not going to be using. Unless I switch to 16-bit outputs, which I'm struggling to think of a reason for it. I thought it might be useful at one point, but I don't think it will now. Anyway, so that's a 42-pin chip, and my EPROM programmer only accepts 40-pin chips. So yeah, that's not going to work. This isn't a surprise. I knew that already. I realised that when I ordered the chips, and I also ordered an adapter that will fit into the EPROM programmer and allow me to fit this chip in that hole, essentially. The way that works, it lies to the EPROM programmer and pretends to be a smaller chip with fewer pins, and the adapter has switches on it that allow you to pre-configure the voltages going into the additional pins, and what that lets you do is it lets you program a portion of the EPROM at a time as if it was a smaller chip. So you set the jumpers up to choose which bit of the EPROM it's going to program, and then you have to make sure you send it the data that you want in that bit of the chip. In terms of erasing, it's just an EPROM. So again, it has a quartz window on top, and you can see the chip inside, and hitting that with a lot of ultraviolet light wipes the chip. So yeah, you can just hold it in the sunlight. That takes quite a long time. The ultraviolet in the sun is not strong enough, and it's not the right frequency to wipe a chip quickly. It is something you need to be careful of if you want to use an EPROM in the long term. What you tend to do is put a sticker on top of that window to stop it being exposed to ultraviolet light unintentionally. But it's only a problem if it's exposed to it for a very long time, like a week or something like that. Or I think they say that for fluorescent tube lights in offices, they might be good for like a year under that condition. But yeah, no, if it's in use in a device, you don't want it to sort of conk out after a while because it dropped a few bits here and there. So these EPROMs I have been using take about a quarter of an hour to erase. That's not what the manufacturer specifies, but my EPROM eraser suggests not leaving it on for longer than a quarter of an hour for overheating reasons. I don't know how severe that is. It didn't seem to get very hot after a quarter of an hour, but a quarter of an hour was enough to wipe these chips anyway. So I think this one in particular suggests 40 minutes, so we'll have to see how that goes. And I'll test that and verify that it's blank after whatever period I choose to wipe it for. But yeah, that's where we are. I have a kit on order because, as I said, I did realise that this was going to be a problem before ordering these larger EPROMs. They look really nice in the sunlight, don't they? There's a sort of rainbow effect on top of the chip there. So yeah, I have a kit on order. When that arrives, I'm then going to have to solder that up. So I might video that at the time. I don't know whether people are interested in watching me solder, but hey, doesn't hurt to record it and send it up. Could even live stream it if there's any interest in that. But yeah, that's those are the next steps really for that, and I'll probably video again when that happens. In the meantime, I'm thinking about audio output and how to integrate that into the system. It's a much simpler problem than the video is, so I'll probably do another video on that at some point as well. So yeah, hope you like this. Do check out the old video if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.